Good evening and welcome to a regular meeting of the Oak Harbor City Council. This evening is November 21st. It is 6 p.m. I'll invite you to stand actually, and we start our meeting with an invocation, and this evening's invocation will be led by our very own council member, Jim Campbell. Please remain standing and I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you. Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight so grateful for this place that you've created for us, grateful for the people that you've put to live here. We feel like that we're special all over this place, and we thank you very, very much. Lord, we also thank you for our Navy. We thank you for those people that are on deployment now, and we ask that you take care of them, keep them safe. Take care of the guys and the ladies that are at the base. Keep them safe also. Be with our first responders. Teach them everything they need to know. Help them stay safe while they're protecting us. As we go to this meeting tonight, we ask, Lord, that you give the council special wisdom to do what's right for the city and its citizens. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Councilor Campbell. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Tonight's, you should all have your agenda. Would anybody want to? Okay, we'll move forward with the agenda as presented. And we do have a presentation this evening, special presentation, and I'd like to invite our Fire Chief Ray Merrill to come forward.
Thanks, Mayor. Evening, Council. Mike, can you join me? So, Council, we're here to celebrate Mike's 25th year with us. You don't know what it's like to work with Mike. You have no idea. If you need something done, you ask Mike and forget about it. He takes care of it. It's terrible. You want to go do an investigation at 3 in the morning, you can turn around and who's there? Mike shows up. You need something done around the station, somebody to fill a shift, you don't even have to ask, and all of a sudden you see Mike. It is absolutely terrible. It's tough having an employee like Mike, and I don't know, 25 years we've done this, so it goes back a long ways. But we are fortunate to have the caliber of person that Mike Buxton is. He is just fantastic to work with in the department, and truly, if you ask him to do something, he's right there to do it. He does a fabulous job for us. He's done a lot of work to get different certifications. He's a firefighter 1, a firefighter 2, fire instructor 1, fire instructor 2, officer 1, officer 2, certified fire investigator, a plans examiner, a fire inspector, and he does a heck of a job for us. And it's a pleasure to have him here. With the work, the way our schedules rotate, he's there if you need him. You just ask him and he's there to help. He wants to participate. And he continually learns, and he is what I would consider the epitome of a firefighter. You ask him, and it's done. And I would entrust my life to him in an instant. So for 25 years, I consider him a good friend. I enjoy working with him, and it's a pleasure to have him in the department. So, Mike, thank you.
Great.
25 years.
Say something.
You have to say something. That's the deal.
Anyway, appreciate the time that I've had on the fire department with Oak Harbor, but it's actually been pretty easy 25 years having leadership like Ray and getting to work with these guys. They're not even like employees, they're like family. I've got brothers and sisters I get to work with every day, so it's really been a pleasure, and I appreciate the city supporting the fire department and being there for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
That's it.
We appreciate you people, the entire department, especially the leadership, and thank you very much. We feel, and I've said this many times at your luncheon this last Thursday where you hosted the chamber, repeated at that point that Oak Harbor is a very safe place to live, one of the safest, and it's certainly because of the hard work that you do and the response time, and we thank you very much. Thanks, Chief. So I did not excuse or ask for, we don't have a full council tonight. Beth Munns is not with us, Councilor Munns, so I'm hoping that we can, yes.
Move to
Councilor
excuse
Servades.
Councilmember Munns.
Second.
Got a motion to excuse Councilor Munns, motion by Servades, second by Wasinger. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We now are moving forward to our citizen comment period. Citizens may comment on subjects of interest not listed on the agenda or items listed on the consent agenda. To ensure comments are properly recorded, please state your name clearly into the microphone, and also limit your comments to 3 minutes to ensure all citizens have sufficient time. So I open it now. I open our meeting for citizen comments. And it doesn't look like we're going to have any citizen comments tonight, so that's okay. We'll move on to the consent agenda. So this is section 4. We have 3 items. Any, yes, Councilor Heisen.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to pull consent agenda item B.
Item B, okay. Anyone else? Okay. Then the other 2 items, A and C, will be approved as presented. Councilor Heisen?
Thank you. I wanted to have a discussion about the timing of our agenda packets and maybe put forth some kind of reasonable proposal to staff. As of now, we get them on Friday afternoons for Tuesday meetings, and it's not unusual for them to be 300, 600, 900 pages long, and when you get that on a Friday afternoon and have to be ready for Tuesday, that's not a lot of time to digest that kind of information, and it's not a lot of time to call staff, talk to staff, especially when you have a Monday through Friday job like I do, so it's not like I can just pop in and ask questions. So I would be more comfortable if we got those packets a lot sooner. I mean, ideally, I would like a week to digest all this information. And I understand that there's last minute things and that Nikki has a lot to pull together. So I just think that the sooner we have the most information possible, then the more educated the decisions we make will be. I was never even really comfortable with Thursday. I didn't think that was enough time. So I don't know, Nikki, if you would have, like, say, I asked for the packet at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, or noon on Wednesday. If you had a drop-dead date for staff to get everything to you, to put it together, it would be like, what, Monday morning-ish? I don't know how long it takes you to assemble everything. You, Nikki. Sorry, Nicole. Nikki number 2.
Councilmember Heisen, the packet is compiled and put together from the department heads the 2 Fridays prior to. Each item then goes through 4 approval chains. We have it going through the city attorney, finance director, city administrator, and mayor. So that's each item that goes through that approval chain. It is posted as soon as I can get it done, as fast as I can get it done. I've tried multiple ways to be able to get it done in a timelier fashion. It just, in order for it to be as correct as it possibly can be, it needs to be vetted through that appropriate chain and continued beyond that timeline. So this is a realistic timeline.
I understand that. I guess what I'm asking is, how far in advance does that information need to be compiled or turned into you in order to get our packets sooner? County commissioners get their agenda packets a week in advance. I know at work, if I want to turn in a voucher to get reimbursed, the cutoff is 10 a.m. on Tuesday. And if I get it in at 10:01 on Tuesday, it goes in the next batch. So I guess what I'm thinking is there should be some kind of cutoff date and time for departments to get their materials reviewed into Nikki so that she can get this compiled in a reasonable amount of time and it can go through all of those channels, or that item just needs to wait until the next meeting. Because I'm sorry, a weekend is not enough time to go over hundreds of pages and research this stuff. I'm just not comfortable with it at all.
Dr. Merriman?
I can understand that point. I'm sure others probably run into that at times as well, just watching responses up there. We do have a pretty lengthy process to go through for those approvals and that, but maybe it's something we need to get all those together that contribute to that packet and brainstorm or push to get those things in a little bit sooner, even to give a day or two extra going the other direction. It's a tough thing to do sometimes, and one of the things we run into are items because we have meetings that sometimes can be 3 weeks apart. We have things that come up that we're trying to get the last minute. And maybe the one option we might have is to look at what process we have to adding those to the agenda. If they come up at the last minute or there's something there, we'd have to have some understanding from council a little bit that those things could occur if they're really time sensitive.
I think
But-
sorry, go ahead.
But at the same time, we'd like to make sure you have it, because I know we have had some pretty lengthy agenda packets. And to get a couple of days, or I'd have to spend your weekend doing that can be pretty onerous sometimes. So that's understandable.
Well, and it's also dependent on availability. I don't mind spending my weekends reading this, but it's just not, sometimes it's just not feasible. I think that the 24-hour posting rule works in our favor in terms of last-minute things that come up. But if we're waiting on one thing, I would prefer us to add that one thing and be able to get the rest of our packet, and instead of holding up the whole process for a couple of last-minute additions. I know that revising all of that and reposting it, et cetera, is probably labor-intensive, but from a policy maker perspective, it's not enough time. It's not. So there needs to be some way to get it earlier, and if, like I said, if it can't get through the review process in time, it just needs to wait until the next meeting. I'm not sure how else to get that accomplished. I mean, I know I can't imagine every governing body gets,
Well,
4 days to review stuff.
I remember my days as city council, I thought the same thing, and we were doing it on Thursday at that point. But I mean, it was at times difficult to get through. So I would assume Councilor Heisen's not the only one that has this concern. So what I hear you saying is that maybe we should go back and have a look at the way we're operating. We try to put deadlines on certain. Well, it's not any particular department by any means. It varies, I think. But sometimes when we're trying to work through, we might be up against a date certain that is concerning, but oftentimes we might be able to roll it to a later meeting too.
Yeah.
So that, I think, is worth looking at.
I would agree. Yeah, to see what we can do to take a look at that and see, and then again too, if we have something that comes up that's really time critical, we have a methodology to add that to the agenda if we need to. We'll figure out a way to do that. But what's really important is you guys get enough information, enough time to do it to make good decisions,
Right.
So.
Yeah, getting them on Friday, I can't call you guys up when I open it on Friday because you're gone. There's nobody here. Nicole, I want to make sure I got this right. Everything submits everything to you, and then you send the packet through for the 4 checks, or does everything come to you to compile once it's been cleared through the whole chain?
We use an agenda management software called Agendies. The department heads upload the agenda items into Agendies. Then they upload the attachments. I then verify that the information is correct with the contracts before we hit submit to approve. Once we hit submit to approve, then it goes through the approval chain through the 4 approvers. They are in sequence. So if we have someone in a meeting. It waits till they get out of a meeting, and all 4 of those individuals have lots of meetings because they're very busy. So if there's an issue, we start over. We start the approval chain again if there's any changes to that packet. So currently, if we have a meeting on a Tuesday, so a meeting like today, the packet information, the requirement is that it is due to me by November 10th. So that's 2 Fridays past. And then I verify for correctness on Monday and Tuesday. Now this is a unique month. We've had a meeting every week this month.
Right.
So we've been posting and having meetings. And then Wednesday is pretty much when we start the approval chain
Nicole,
and finish up.
can I go ahead and I'll just jump in
Absolutely.
here and pull you off the hook a little bit here? We're probably not going to be able to solve it tonight by going through all the details on it. So maybe the thing that we should do tonight is just table this item and for action tonight. Why don't we come back when we've got a better idea, and I can call council members or speak with the mayor some more and find a good way to come up with a solution for this.
Okay, the reason I asked Nikki for the process is just to get, I mean, and obviously you guys, you know the logistics better than I do, but if it sounds like it's kind of redundant, so I mean, it could be incumbent upon the department heads in the approval chain to get everything to her by a certain date, and then she puts it together versus instead of doing that twice, it seems like. So, however it's possible to do that, to get it to us any earlier, I would be more comfortable with that. So anything that you guys can devise, and this isn't a criticism of anybody, just like you're the most efficient person I know. It's just I need more time thing.
Councilor Wasinger?
Part of the ordinance, I'd like to look into adding, I mentioned last council meeting about posting our agendas also on our social media accounts. And that is not specifically mentioned the way the ordinance was written for tonight that we're tabling. But if that's something that can be added, I don't want to get into it tonight per se, but if staff can look at that and see if that could possibly be added into the wording. You know, there's wording in there to send it to the Whitby News Times and this different newspaper outlets. But if that's something that we can do set in stone in ordinance, I'd appreciate looking into it. Thank you.
Okay. Just one comment on that. It is something we're already looking at doing and getting that incorporated in there. I don't know necessarily we would codify something like that in an ordinance, but if council wanted to do it that way, we can do it. But it's something we're already taking the steps to do based on that recommendation you made.
Thank you.
Councilor Heisen, were you done? I'm sorry, I might have.
I am.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Councilor Owens?
Thank you. You know, in the days when we had the standing committee meetings, I found that it took a lot more time to get through a packet because we're seeing that information for the first time. My recollection is that we have a joint workshop once a month to get a preview of what's on the upcoming agendas for meetings, council meetings. And I find that it's very helpful to have a lot of that information in draft form. And as I go through the packet when they come out, much of it's redundant. And I'd hate to lose that, but I know that we added a lot of extra work and time to the staff to have these workshops and to present this information because you're preparing information for the workshop too. So I hope we don't sacrifice the workshop information in lieu of compressing the deadlines for these things. And I'm supportive of your thoughts about not having enough time. I personally have not felt pressured to have time. And I, believe it or not, even though I'm retired, I do work every day. And I also have to deal with the transit packets. Our transit packets, I get those on the Friday before my meeting, or usually 2 or 3 days before it. And it takes a fair amount of time to do this job. which a lot of people don't realize, and I respect what Tara is saying. So, to cut this blabber short, if we can find a way to do it, I'd say yes, but I hate to compromise the workshop information in order to find some other solution that expands the time for our review. Thank you.
Okay. So, do we need to do something to table this?
If someone would like to make a motion to table, that would be appropriate.
I'll make a motion to table this agenda item until a future date, or just table it?
Just table it.
Yeah, just table it, then we don't get specific, okay?
Second.
We have a motion to table item number 4B. Motion by Ellenberg, second by Campbell. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. And I think we are now on to section 5, and that would start with the mayor's comments. I just have a couple of things. I wanted to announce that the city offices will be closed Thursday of this week and Friday, November 23rd and 24th, in observance of the Thanksgiving holiday. I want to wish everyone out there watching and everyone here a wonderful Thanksgiving. And my last announcement is you'd better watch out. Better not pout. Better not cry. And I'm telling you why, because Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus, even though it's not Thanksgiving yet, I'm sorry, but Santa will be here on December 2nd at 5 p.m. downtown when we'll light our Christmas lights. So December 2nd, 5 p.m. Downtown Pioneer Way. And with that, I would like to turn it over to the council members. Anybody here got an announcement or anything? Councilor Heisen?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to encourage us and members of the public to check out the temporary emergency shelter, the Haven, just across the street at the Methodist Church. I think it was right after our last meeting, I popped over there across the street, and it was really neat. It was really chill. It was really quiet. Everybody was happy to talk about issues. I came back with a list. I have that somewhere. But they desperately need volunteers. Desperately need volunteers. And it's 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and they can do split shifts. And I know that overnight shift is a lot, but it's a really great service. It's very well run. It's even if people don't have time to go and volunteer for a couple of hours, it's worth popping across the street to check out. So if any of you haven't been there yet, I just wanted to encourage you to go check it out and talk to some people. It was a really great experience.
Thank you, Councilor. Okay. Councilor Palmer.
I requested to make a comment on the agenda item regarding the windmill. And for the purpose of keeping me on track with my conversation, I have written my notes, so I will read through the notes. And of course, for council members to respond if they wish to. Resolution number 17-19, it's a resolution authorizing the removal of the windmill at Windjammer Park. Last paragraph of resolution number 1719, number 1, authorizes staff to remove the windmill. And number 2, authorize staff to pursue a location for a new windmill. When we approved the resolution, a preliminary cost estimate of the options presented was not presented, and I didn't have any recollection of receiving the structural engineer's report either. I voted for the resolution without realizing the engineer's report, without requesting the engineer's report or requesting a preliminary cost estimate for the options. My oversight, my mistake. It's not typically things that I do when I'm evaluating a decision, but I believe that this topic merits another look, and for the reasons that are noted here in the rest of this conversation. While walking in the park several days after the resolution was approved, I became curious of the structural deficiencies noted by the staff and the engineer, and the windmill paddles were already removed. Visually and at ground level, I could observe some wood rot in the platform/decking and water stains on some of the cantilevered glulam beams. In addition, I could see that there were possible flashing and wood rot issues around the fascia at the top of the roof. My initial reaction was that the wood rot issue did not merit demolishing the building, and I began thinking about the cost of the other options provided in Resolution 17-19. I also thought of other options that may be considered. I made arrangements with the city to meet with our building official and the project engineer for the wastewater treatment facility to inspect the building together so I could better understand the conditions of the building and the rationale for demolishing this building. After inspecting the building inside and out, I came to the conclusion that all of the options and costs should be given more consideration. I prepared a preliminary estimate, things that I'm used to doing throughout my career, of reasonable costs for doing some of these things. One of them would be to build a new facility. The other option would be to repair the existing one. The preliminary cost, and please understand that these are napkin level estimates, because I do not have plans for this, but observing what the building requires, it would cost very close to $40,000 to remove this building. And then it would cost, including admin, permits, architect, engineer, site work, building construction, archaeology, closeout, and I have an assumption of $350,000 on that for a total $390,000 to demo the existing windmill and replace it. When making assumptions, one should have a broader range of that target, and my range in this case is $350,000 to $450,000. This is obviously not a bid, but it gives us a target of what we can expect a new windmill of similar design and construction materials and quality to cost at a relocated site. For the repairs, to repair the existing building, the cost came out to $98,750. And I've gone through fairly detailed items on this thing of what these categories would cost us to repair that, to mostly replace the paddles on the building and the wood deck. Those are the items that are most deteriorated. The purpose for me doing this has nothing to do with my objection to the windmill being there or not being there. It's really tied into money. Is this a decision that it merits consideration to the council? Do we want to spend $400,000 to replace it? Or do we want to keep it in place and have it restored at approximately $100,000? I have possibly a third option for us to consider, and that would be for the staff to, excuse me just a second. It would be for the staff to contact community service organization and solicit their interest to a partnership to restore this. We did a partnership with the city and the community to install that boardwalk that connected our waterfront park. That was very cost effective for both the community and for all of the people who worked on that. You know, the lagoon and the bridge at the lagoon are also community projects. as well as Ramalli Park, et cetera, et cetera. This is a community that really can come together and help with it. We will find out how badly the community wants to keep that windmill there if we can get participation by one or more groups to restore it. I'm prepared to provide a motion to delay the authorization for the city staff to remove or demolish the windmill as it stands right now. And I'm sure the mayor can keep a halt on this thing until we have time to do other considerations or consider other options. But my motion would be to provide time for the staff to provide a cost analysis for option 1 of resolution 17-19, provide a cost analysis for option 3 in resolution 17-19, and number 3, contact several community service organizations to see if they would take on the restoration of this project. I realize that our master plan does not necessarily include a windmill in this location. It's my understanding that that work has not been designed other than the schematic master plan. And if the site work has been prepared by the architect within the master plan, in this digital age, we cut and paste happens all the time on those site plans. So there is not a lot of money and time put into modifying any plans at this time. Phase 1 that we're in right now with the wastewater treatment plant and with the associated park work is not included in the windmill area. The staff has confirmed with me that it does not interfere with the progress or completion of the wastewater treatment plant, and therefore I've been told that this is not time sensitive. We have time to review this, to give it further thought. Are we going to pay $400,000? Are we going to pay $100,000? It's our choice of what we want our community to pay. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're still in council comments. So, other questions, input, other comments? Anyone have anything? Okay. Seeing none, I guess at this point,
I would like to make a motion.
Okay.
If I can
Okay.
at that time, we'll just bring this to a conclusion.
okay,
My motion is to indefinitely delay the authorization to city staff to remove and demolish the windmill at Windjammer Park, and to allow the staff to provide a cost analysis for option 1 of Res 1719. Number 2, provide a cost analysis for option number 3 of Res 1719, and provide staff time to contact community service organizations to see if we can get their participation to restore the existing windmill.
so we have a motion, and we could reread it, or how's council? Okay, hearing no second. Okay, then that motion dies. Thank you, Mr. Olmberg. Lots of good information there. We are now going to city administrator comments. Okay, Dr. Merriman?
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. I'm probably going to just echo some of the comments before, but in looking at our schedule, we do know this week that our city offices are closed Thursday and Friday, and we'd like to thank the community and our customers for their understanding as we allow staff time to celebrate the season with their families. So we'll be closed those 2 days. We'll be back for business at the regular time on Monday. Our next council meeting will follow up on December 5th at the regular time. And as you'll notice, we'll be bringing forward, we have a few contract extensions and things to run out by the end of the year, and we'll be getting those items wrapped up. getting 2017 ready to close and then getting ready to roll over the new year into 2018 and starting business again. Those are the main things that we have going on right now, and here he is. Brett is here to do the wastewater treatment plant update.
Good evening. We're here time for our clean water facility project update. One interesting thing on this project, these guys are actually working on the RAS pump station, and you see the workers out there doing things, but there's a tremendous amount of organization that goes in behind it. We have 26 subcontractors working in that facility right now. A lot of them are working in the same area, and keeping them coordinated is a very large task. We use a system called a BIM, which is called a Building Information Model. And it's a three-dimensional model that we put all the equipment, all the pipes, all the conduits, all the structures into it. This is a screenshot from that area that we just saw the guys working in. That's the RAS pump area. I call it a spaghetti factory. You can see from that we have pipes and conduits, support structures all over the place. And keeping those from conflicting with each other is a major task. So all the subcontractors meet weekly, go over this model, and they input all the information. It's actually pretty interesting, and we do find a lot of conflicts which save us money. So this is what the final product is going to look like, but there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that makes this project efficient and keeps it moving along like it does. Design-wise, we have completed the review of the 90% documents. The 100% documents will be out December 15th for Windjammer Park. We are preparing bid packages to put out for bid for early January. We'll have a variety of packages, some base bid items and some optional items. We'll get pricing on that. We are continuing work on the SCADA software development. A lot of that in our systems and coordination. We have 20 vendor packages so we have like 20 computers that need to talk to each other. So that's becoming a very interesting activity. We are, staff-wise, preparing to get out of the lagoon. It's going to be a year from now, and so there's quite a bit of work that needs to take place with that. Construction-wise, we're pouring concrete, getting it done. We're still ahead of schedule and below our labor estimates. I'm real pleased with our performance so far to date, where numbers are coming in good. We continue to backfill around structures. That big pile is going to start disappearing pretty quick. GMP's number 9, which is mechanical, electrical, are becoming a big part of it. And GMP's number 11 is extremely busy right now. A lot of the architectural system, roofs, framing, all that type of stuff is in there. We have 115 workers on site. That's probably going to stay at the level until about the first of the year. Then we'll start tapering down a little bit. Some of the structural work will start to close out. Wood framing is underway on the administration building, and the masons and the roofers are working pretty hard right now. The masons are be finishing up. The only building we have left for CMU is the headworks, but we're starting to switch into the decorative bricks. So that brickwork is going to start coming up pretty soon. So that'll go pretty quickly. Funding, as I said last time, DOE is going to implement our new loan application, so we're in the process of getting that ready to go. And we're still pursuing Windjammer Park funding opportunities. We still plan on having a special council workshop in the near future to talk about our project progress and our future activities. It's going to be a very busy summer. Windjammer Park is going to be impacted quite severely this summer, so we need to start talking about how we approach that. Schedule-wise, right on schedule. I got some good news this morning. The switch gear that I've been kind of worried about, we got a firm delivery date for that, so that problem is starting to get behind us a little bit. So that's was bothering me, and but we got some confirmation this morning. So, and we also have activities that have to come with that getting scheduled. So we're looking good right now on schedule. Like I say, it is going to be a busy year. Public outreach, if you want to reach us, we can reach us on our website at www.oakharborcleanwater.org. You can call our information line at 914-7000 or our work extensions. We do have an email address at treatmentplant@oakharbor.org. And we have we've been having open houses, which haven't been very popular, but our next one is Monday, December 10th. Questions?
Any questions? Yes, Councilor Servadius.
Can you jump back one slide, please, Brett? I'm sorry, one more slide. I didn't realize you'd gone to that question.
Yeah.
Second line from the bottom, startup training. Are all those colored lines static?
What do you mean by static?
Do they move at all, or does just the red line move?
This the red line moves. That's the schedule. We're going to probably give you an updated version of that, but that's actually schedule is actually still pretty accurate. But
Okay.
yeah, the red line's the only one that kind of moves. But it's when I do the graphic, I have to kind of eyeball it.
Right. No, I was looking
Yeah.
at the startup and testing. I was getting all excited, but that I think was the more original schedule,
Yeah,
correct?
what's happening is there's several types of testing, like the switchgear, for example. One of the big indicators for me was we have what we call factory acceptance testing, and so there's certain things that had to occur before we can get it shipped. So one of the problems that was making me uncomfortable, we weren't scheduling that testing. So there's a lot of testing that goes on that some of it is not always here.
Thank you.
Anyone else? So switch gear for a treatment plant.
Yeah, if you remember, this is a large, high voltage system, so PSC runs a 2300 volt system into there. We have to be able to switch that equipment around, and because of the treatment plant redundancies, we have to make sure that it keeps running, so we just don't have one piece of equipment. It's sort of a parallel system, and there is problems with delivering things very common in this industry because they're sort of a custom engineered piece of equipment that goes through a lot of submittal process. So that's been a flag for me for the last 2 years, and I was getting concerned about it. So it's basically like the pieces you see up in the transformers, but they're big gray boxes when you see them.
Okay. Thank you, Brett. Appreciate that. Does that conclude your comments? Thank you, Dr. Merriman. So we are on, I think, to the last item on our agenda tonight. Normally, we would have an ordinance or a public hearing, and we would ask for members of the audience to participate. Maybe we should ask for them to participate before we do this oath of office ceremony for Councilmember Wasinger. We might learn some things. I'm a little humor there, actually. It's nice to see the audience here tonight, and thank you for coming. So item 9A is oath of office ceremony for Councilmember Wasinger, and this evening it's going to be led by our Deputy City Clerk, Nikki Tesh, right?
Do you hear?
So Councilmember Wasinger's been actually serving up here for nearly 2 years. However, the oath has to wait until after the first election. Is that correct?
I can clarify,
Would you please do that?
Mayor Severance.
Yeah.
Councilmember Wasinger was originally appointed to councilmember position number 4 to fill the vacancy for you when you were elected mayor to finish the remainder of your term. The general election was certified on November 7th, 2017. Councilmember Wasinger was the only applicant to file for this open seat of position number 4. So, Councilmember Wasinger will need to be sworn into office within 21 days after the certification of the election for the term from November 2017 to January, since she was originally appointed to serve a vacancy. And that is under the legal authority of RCW 35A.12.080. Do I have that right? So, Councilmember Wasinger, if you will repeat after me. Please raise your right hand. I recite your name.
Erica Wasinger,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I am a citizen of the United States
that I am a citizen of the United States
and the state of Washington,
and the state of Washington,
and that I will support the Constitution
and that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States,
and laws of the United States,
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the state of Washington,
of the state of Washington,
and the ordinances
and the ordinances
of the city of Oak Harbor,
and of the city of Oak Harbor,
and that I will,
and that I will,
due to my best of my judgment,
due to the best of my judgment,
skill and ability, truly and faithfully, diligently and impartially, perform the duties of the office of council member of the city of Oak Harbor, Washington, as duties as prescribed by law.
as such duties prescribed by law.
Thank you, Councilmember Wasinger. Congratulations.
Okay, anyone else have any additional business? Seeing none, I'd like to be the first to congratulate you. I'm not sure I was, but congratulations. Welcome back. Okay, Councilor Heisen.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, that passes. We're adjourned. Thank you.